Good morning and welcome back to Rue's Life. It is 6 o'clock in the morning. I've only got this big light on in the kitchen so that I can film. Normally I'd just have the lamp on, so I'll be popping that on again in a minute. So I've just come down. I'm going to give the dogs their tablets. Kay is on heart medication and Kaylee has some glucosamine and some paracetamol because she only has 3 legs and we are just looking after that back leg. She struggles a little bit with that without a little bit of pain relief and a little bit of support. So I'm going to get their tablets and then I'm going to put the kettle on, have a cup of tea, and then I'm going to go out and feed the chickens. So the girls have had their tablets, I've had mine, my vitamins, I've still got some to drink, and my flower remedies. I'm taking high strength vitamin D at the moment, also just a multivitamin in a drink, and I pop my flower remedies into my drink, and I have those over the course of the morning. I've got a cup of tea, but what I want to go out and do next, a couple of things. One is feed the chickens. It's quite dark out there, but I will take you with me. You might be able to see them. And then I need to pop out. So I have these log bags. The cottage is heated only by the wood burner, so through the winter months. We try and keep that going overnight, but I'm going to need some more logs and I will get the fire back up and running, so it'll just be in tick over now. There should be some embers. I can get that back up, but I will need to pop out and get some kindling and some more wood. So I'm just going to have another slurp of tea, get the chickens fed, get some wood in and get that fire going. So it's absolutely throwing it down with rain. I'm just in the barn. You can probably just about see me. So I'm not going to take you out with me into the rain because I don't want to get the camera wet. So it's not particularly exciting feeding chickens in the morning in the dark. So I'll just get some food, feed them, check their water, and then when it's lighter, that's when I will generally check their bedding and see if there's any eggs. So I'm just going to go and feed them now. So that is the chickens fed. As you can see, it's still pitch dark out here. So I'm just going to go and get some wood from the woodshed. I'm going to get that fire going. And that's it for now. So 6 o'clock, that's what one of us will do. Chris is actually having a lie-in this morning. It's my turn to get up. The dogs are obviously really important with their medication on time, and we like to get the chickens fed fairly early. If Chris is working, he'll be up and getting ready and off and out. If I'm on a night shift, I will often get up early because I'll have a sleep in the afternoon if it's my first shift. But if I'm in between shifts, I'd actually be at work at the moment, so Chris would be doing this. But if I'm not at work, which I'm not today, I can give Chris a lie-in and I can crack on. So next is getting some wood in, getting that fire up and going, so we've got some heat in the house. The dogs actually do wear fleecy pyjamas overnight. I had actually come down already and whipped those off because I'd let them out for a week and I didn't want them to get wet. So it's important I get that fire going. So now they've got their pyjamas off. Obviously we're snuggled under the duvet at night, they have their pyjamas on, and then if that fire does simmer down, which it does, there's not as much heat. So anyway, I'm waffling. Girls are settled, chickens are fed. I'm going to get some wood in, get that fire back up and running, then I can have a cup of tea and wait until it gets light. So I'll probably just drink my tea, maybe listen to the radio. This is when I would do my journaling or a little bit of meditation, sometimes some yoga stretches. Obviously in the summer things are very different because it would be light now. Anyway, let's get that wood in, let's get that fire going. So as you can see, it's light now, it's much later in the morning. I had some problems with my memory card, so the footage that happened between me feeding the chickens and now I've not been able to use. But essentially it was just checking the sheep and their water, feeding, checking the horses and their water, and feeding Victor. So I've got a few plans today. I want to pop over to the plot. What I want to do today is go through all my seeds, have a really good sort out of what I've already got so I don't have to buy anything unnecessarily, and make plans for what I'll be sowing and growing this year. I've also got, I finally invested not a huge amount of money in some leaf pickers, leaf grabbers. There's still a lot of leaf fall around the farm, and I will be collecting some of them. Some I leave to mulch down naturally because I think it's good for, you know, the trees to have that leaf litter under them to put back into the trees. But those that have ended up on paths, concrete areas, and in areas we don't need them to be, or where they get slippery when we're walking, then I will be raking up and picking up with my fabulous new leaf grabbers. And then I've also ended up with a trug and some gloves over here that need to go over to the plot. So I'm going to go across and do that, and then I'm also going to make a pie. So I'm going to cheat. I usually make my own pastry, but it's bought pastry. We're both still a bit under the weather, and you know, it's okay to cheat sometimes, isn't it? If it means we get a good end result. So I've got some locally shot game from next door, some pheasant and some partridge, so I'm going to make a game pie. Got plenty of veg in the freezer. There's still some parsnips that I could pull, and a few sprouts and beetroot, so I can make a nice meal for later on. So that is what I'm getting up to today. So let's hop over to the plot, have a little look round, and drop off the trug and gloves. I'm going to take the leaf grabbers and pop those in the shed as well, so I know where they are when I need them. And I'm going to go through my seeds, so let's go and do that. So I've just given some of the plants a little watering. Even at this time of the year, it's very easy to forget that in a polytunnel, although we're getting almost like a little microclimate in here, because you get the condensation which drips down and there's more water content in here, we still need to be watering those things that we want to survive and grow. So I've given the carrots and the other bits and pieces, which reminds me I just need to move that carrot tub. There we are. It was just on a bit of a slant. So I've just given those things that needed it a watering, and next I'm going to get some of these parsnips up. It's very rare you'll see me using the long handled tools, but parsnips can be a real pain to get out of the ground, can't they? Even in these raised beds, you know, parsnips can be tough to get out. Now, the disadvantage of using a fork like this is if you're not careful, you can damage the parsnips. But if you're careful and just loosen that soil around them, then give them a good push down and twist before you pull. I find that the most successful way of getting my parsnips out. So let's have a go and see what we can get to put towards our meal today. So I'm just going to loosen the soil. I'm going to try not to damage any of the actual roots of the vegetables. Time will tell. Let's pop some gloves on and see what we've got. Now I've already had some lovely parsnips that we had for our festive meal, so let's see what else is in here. We seem somehow to have managed to get some stinging nettles, so we'll get rid of those, and then let's have a little look to give it a oh, look at that, bit of a gnarly one. Not bad, needs a rinse. What else have we got in here? I think we may have had the best of them. Oh, there's a nice one. Oh yes, look at that. Oh, lovely. Absolutely lovely. So these are really decent parsnips. I just need to pop them outside and give them a little rinse. But look at those. Absolutely smashing. So let's go and give them a little rinse, and then I'll show you them. So I'm really happy with these. There's one that's a little bit on the gnarly side. Let's just take the leaves off it. But you know, it'll be okay chopped and into the pie. Move you. And then these three, I mean, look at these whoppers. Absolutely delighted with those. Real decent parsnips. He's got a little bit of a bendy in the end, so I'll get the leaves off them and pop them in the trug, and then we'll hop outside and get some sprouts and a couple of beetroot. Oh, yummy. So let's go out and get the sprouts and the beetroot. So we've got a few sprouts, a couple of the Chioggia beetroot, and a decent sized bolt hardy. So that will go a nice long way towards our meal. So I'm absolutely thrilled with that little harvest. What I'm going to do now is I've got all my seeds out of the drawer here in the shed, and I'm going to go through them all and start making lists, certainly of what I'm going to be growing sort of January, February. And I'm going to make a separate video on that, so I will go through these, but the video will be coming out shortly if you'd like to watch that on what I'll be sowing and growing through January and probably February. So that'll be a separate video. So I'm going to pop the kettle on, make myself a brew, and just spend some time, as I say, going through my seeds and making myself a list, so I'm prepared. Now I haven't got any compost at the moment. I've only got compost I've made myself. It tends to have weed seeds, so I do still buy some potting compost for just starting my seeds off. But that's something I need to do, so that's on my list. So let's crack on and look at these seeds. But before I do that, let's get the kettle on. Goodness, I've barely room to put my drink. Let's pop it down over here. And while I'm thinking, while I'm in here, I don't know if you can just see above me, are the remainder of the onions that I didn't freeze. So I'm just going to grab one of those to use in my meal while I'm thinking about it. That's a nice one. So they were hanging in the polytunnel. The reason I don't take them into the house is that we've got the dogs, and I always worry if one of them falls. Onions are really toxic to dogs, so I try and keep them separate. But they were getting, I was worried they were going to go soft because of the moisture in the polytunnel, so I brought them in here. We have on occasions taken them and having them upstairs in the spare room, but I'm over here, so I can always just grab one. And if I'm harvesting other veg, it's just a case of grabbing another onion. So I'm going to go through these seeds and have my coffee. And as I say, there will be a video coming out on that. And then we'll get inside and make that pie. So now that I've sorted through all these seeds, I just need to get them back into the cabinet here. So I'm going to pack those away. I'm going to finish my kind of lukewarm coffee now, but I will finish that. Finish up here in the garden and pop across to the house. The dogs are playing out in the garden because it's a little bit milder, so I've left the kitchen door open. And that's one of the wonderful advantages for me here. I love the fact that I've got everything here on the farm. So apart from my wild swimming, everything else is here for me, so that, you know, I can ride the horses. I can take the dogs for a walk around the fields if I want to, although I do often pop them in the car and take them to the canal or the mere or elsewhere. But I'm very, very fortunate that I can walk from the house to the plot and back. It's great when I want to come out and harvest. And also that I can leave the girls playing out in the garden while I'm across at the plot. I don't have the dogs across here at the plot. I've just found historically it doesn't work. Having greyhounds, trying to do zoomies through your polytunnel is not a good mix. But I can keep saying how do to them. They can see me across the way. So I'm waffling. Let's get these back into the cabinet, and then I'm going to pop across, see the girls, make sure everybody's okay, check in on Chris because he's not feeling great today. And then I'm going to get the game pie made. So I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into that meal. I'm just letting it cool a little bit, and then I'm going to plate it up and we will eat. And then after that, it's a case of popping out to check on the animals again and make sure they're all sorted, and then feed the dogs. So I'm going to end this video here. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, then please do consider subscribing if you haven't already, and hit that bell so you'll get notifications of all my latest videos. Going forward, my gardening videos, so pure gardening videos, will be coming out on Sundays, and all the other content will be coming out on Wednesdays, so videos similar to today. And if you have enjoyed today's video, be sure to give me a thumbs up, and there'll be a video coming up on the screen right now that I think you'll enjoy. So go ahead and watch that. Take care, and I'll see you all again soon.